From the Welsh mountains, we meet people who faced uphill struggles of their own with today's Songs of Praise in 15 minutes. First on BBC One, it's Your Points of View on the BBC with Jeremy Vine.
Good afternoon and welcome to a special edition of Points of View. I'm here at the Imperial War Museum because this week we will be looking at the BBC's plans to mark the 100th anniversary of World War I, plans drawn up in partnership with the museum. In a while, I'll be talking to the BBC controller in charge of this big 4-year-long project and putting your comments to him. But first, here's our roundup of your views on the TV you've watched this week.
I have no alternative but to discharge the jury and release the defendant.
A new role for the former Doctor Who, David Tennant, in The Escape Artist. This time, without the power of teleportation, Tennant plays a junior barrister skilled at spiriting other people out of tight legal corners.
Congratulations.
Well done. It was a mistake. I just made sure they paid for it.
Will, good man.
Just doing my job. Thank you, my friend. Pleasure. Take care.
This was the first of 3 parts, and for you, the jurors, the verdict so far is good.
Wow, The Escape Artist. Edge of seat stuff.
That was scary. Not sure if I can watch it all.
I enjoyed it very much, and the cast is excellent this far. DT is, of course, a marvellous actor.
Very much on the wrong side of the law now, and Monday saw the return of the crime series Ripper Street.
Wish me to fight for your entertainment, dear. Quite the Roman Emperor, ain't you?
Jack the Ripper may be fading into memory, but East London has found no peace. The gritty melodrama proved a hit last series. How is it faring this time round?
We awaited this new series with great expectation based on the previous series. Sadly, we were unable to hear most of the dialogue, which was variously inaudible or of appalling diction.
We were unable to follow the plot due to muttering and mumbling by the cast. We shall not be watching any more episodes as we really have no idea what it was about.
I know there were subtitles for the Chinese characters, but maybe it was necessary for some of the English?
I know how to turn on my subtitles, but why should I? There's nothing wrong with my hearing. The BBC should have previewed this programme and sent it straight back for audio tweaking.
It's a privacy.
So is the criticism fair? We put the complaints to the production team. This is what they said.
The issue of mumbling in drama is something we are aware of and do our best to avoid. It is important to ensure the audience can really enjoy our drama to the full, and we always strive to make the very best content possible.
So you speak and make amends, Sergeant. We just need to hear the words.
Train enthusiast Michael Portillo embarking on a second series of his great continental railway journeys.
I'll be using this, my Bradshaw's Continental Railway Guide, dated 1913, which opened up an exotic world of foreign travel for the British tourist.
He returned to his native Spain, travelling from Madrid to Gibraltar with history-packed stops on the way.
Now, Gonzalo, how do we drink sherry?
Well, in England, very badly.
So, 2 easy rules. Drink it cold and drink it fast. To sherry and to the railways.
Thank you.
Thank you.
How's that?
Well, I think it's pretty good.
Smell it.
It's really good.
Choo Choo was on top form in his second home, and this was most enjoyable. Generations of English drinkers of sherry should hang their heads in shame.
Lovely and informative, with local experts, archive clips and ordinary people contributing to the various histories of the locations. Why the Beeb keeps quiet about such an interesting programme is beyond me.
Panorama tackled the issue of filth on Monday night, and I'm talking litter here.
Since the 60s, the population of the UK has risen by a little over 20%. But the amount of litter being dropped has increased by an alarming 500%.
But weren't dirty streets really a subject for a serious, investigative current affairs programme?
This particular dumbed-down edition of Panorama was even more rubbish, pun intended, than I had actually anticipated.
I didn't think it added very much to our understanding of the litter problem, but it's always a pleasure to see Joan Bakewell.
People can't wait for others to solve the problem. They're getting on with it for themselves.
There's some over here that this is my big chance. Feels good when you've done that.
Well, it is wonderfully autumnal here in the grounds of the museum, and it is, of course, a perfect time of year for the return of one of our seasonal traditions.
And Martin, you're going to be out and about, aren't you?
I am, Michaela. It's an Autumn Watch first. I'm about to leave in this very vehicle right out into the darkness and become Autumn Watch's live roving reporter. What could possibly go wrong? Welcome. It's Autumn Watch.
Packham, Strachan and Hughes Games' annual look at the wonders and beauty of our ever-changing countryside, getting 4 seasons in one day type of responses.
I've gone right off the programme. It is too childish in presentation for me these days.
I actually thought it was less childish than normal. No sniggering, in-jokes or poodles. However, I think that most subjects on this and Springwatch have now been done to death.
All very interesting, clever filming with extremely enthusiastic presenters. But what ruins it for us is the completely unnecessary and irritating music. Why not just hear the birds chirping, the leaves rustling, rather than some idiot banging on the drums?
So, a bit of a Marmite programme. Some liked it, some not so much. Next year, 2014, marks the centenary of the outbreak of World War I. And to commemorate it, the Beebers planned what's been described as the biggest and most ambitious BBC season ever undertaken. So here's a little preview of just some of the highlights.
At 11:20, British forces were sent the fateful telegram, which read simply, "War, Germany, act."
A new landmark series launches a season packed with documentaries like Gallipoli and the World's War, offering new perspectives on the conflict.
It drew men in, men from every continent, men of every religion and every race.
My Great War unlocks never-before-seen interviews recorded 50 years ago with those who survived the war.
What was it that we soldiers stabbed each other?
Lots of World War I drama on the way as well, covering all aspects of the conflict, such as the Ark, the story of a fictional field hospital behind the trenches.
The reason that this hospital is different is because the men here have come from hell. Real hell.
Just some of what we can expect over the next 4 years. And Adrian Van Claveren, who is the controller of the World War I centenary, is the man in charge of it all. Welcome to you.
Thank you.
A huge project, and it's been in the planning for a long time.
It is a huge project. I think it's the most ambitious season the BBC has ever actually mounted. We've been planning some of the programmes for years. Some of the documentaries have been researched going back over a period of time. Some of the dramas have been written and cast and then being produced. So a huge amount of work right across the BBC, every service involved in it, and offering a huge range of programmes.
Well, it's 2,500 hours of content, TV, radio, online, and some of our viewers have been trying to do the maths on what all of that entails, and some are a bit concerned, as you can see.
The length of the planned coverage, whilst seemingly a clever idea, will make it harder, perversely, to maintain interest and continuity of approach and message.
I'm looking forward to dramas, stories, music, poetry, documentary, and expect facts, and more facts that have been well researched.
So is there a danger of audience saturation here?
Yes, that's something we've thought about. The centenary does last 4 years because the First World War lasted that length of time and there are events to mark all the way through. What we are trying to do is to make sure in our coverage we mark the appropriate moments and that we concentrate activity at particular points so that people know where to find what we're doing. And there's a range of programmes that will appeal to different people in different ways.
You won't exhaust them?
No, we won't do that because it won't all be at a constant level. There will be different moments when we're looking at different aspects of the war, whether that's looking at the origins of it, whether it's looking at the military side of it, whether we're looking at what went on at the home front. We'll be doing that at different points in different ways. So I think each person will be able to find something of interest there.
The other issue for some of our viewers is, of course, tone and whether the BBC gets the tone right. So just see what they're saying about that.
This seems to be the BBC celebrating and glorifying in war. Do the BBC plan to celebrate or commemorate the Great War?
I find the idea of a 4-year centenary pretty weird. I can see why you'd want to commemorate the end of the war, but why the whole long, horrific duration of it? Seems unnecessarily jingoistic.
So the tone, celebration, commemoration, which is it?
Yes, we've thought about that long and hard. What we are trying to do are two things, really. One is to commemorate the war, commemorate those who died, those who were injured, and to make sure we mark the centenary of that properly. But it's also about increasing understanding. What we want to do across the whole 4 years is to help people know more about the First World War, what caused it, what took place during it, and what its consequences were as well. And we believe by doing that, we will end up giving people a much better sense of what the war was about and why it's still relevant today, how it's changed the world in which they now live.
The word jingoistic came up there, and the worry that that's how these programmes may seem to people outside the UK.
Yes, I think both for audiences outside the UK and actually many people in the UK. I don't think people want us to be jingoistic. We will tell the story of Britain during the war, and I think people would expect that. But equally, we're very much trying to take an international perspective. One of the things we're trying to do is to tell people the stories of the war that they're not so familiar with. Stories which are beyond the trenches, which are beyond the barbed wire and the mud, to help people understand the war, why it was a global war, the fact that people from so many countries fought in it, and what that actually led to.
But this is not just about the content the BBC generates. It's also about people revealing their connections to the Great War. And I guess that's really what it should be about. It's capturing those individual stories of heroism or self-sacrifice.
Yes, I think that's vital that we tell those individual stories. We're at the point now where there are no survivors from the conflict alive, when it's moving from memory into history. But actually what we know is that so many families have an individual story to tell, so many places have a story that is about that place and will help people understand more what the war meant, why it was relevant. And by getting to those individual stories and telling them both on radio, online and on television, we think we'll give a real sense of why the First World War still matters.
The Director General, Tony Hall, has said that this season is going to have a profound impact on the way we think about World War I. So if I could ask you to sort of spin forwards to 2018, how do you think it will have changed the way we see that war?
I think what we can do is to surprise people, to tell them things about the war that they didn't know before, and to help them understand it much better as well, so that people have a much broader sense of what started the war, why Britain was part of it, and a sense of actually what took place as a result of the war, how it changed Britain in so many ways, from the changes in the class system, the role of women, through to all sorts of small things which we still experience in our everyday lives. I think by putting the First World War in that context, people will feel over the next 4 years they've got a much better sense of why it matters.
Adrian Van Claveren, thank you very much indeed.
Thank you.
An epic project that I'm sure will keep us all talking over the next 4 years. Well, that's about it for this week, except to remind you that in a few weeks' time, we're going to have a special interview with the BBC's Director General. Now is your opportunity to put your questions to Tony Hall, and you can do so in one of many, many ways. By post at Points of View, BBC Northern Ireland, Belfast, BT2 8HQ. By phone, the number is charged as a local rate call from any landline, and it is 0370 908 3199. Or join the message borders where it's always lively, bbc.co.uk/POV. There's also email, pov@bbc.co.uk. And don't forget, we're also on Twitter at BBC POV. That's it for this week. From this spectacular place, goodbye.
We have all week been taking applications for the post vacated by Miss Audrey.
I would like to make an application for the position of head of ladies' wear.
I cannot bear to have you chosen over me again.
May the best man win.
You're both pawns in their game.
This could be a department like no other.
The Paradise continues tonight at 8 on BBC One and BBC One HD.
I'm starting a choir.
Finding superstars in the most surprising places.
The only way is up, baby.
Gareth returns with the choir. Sing While You Work. Starts tomorrow at 9 on BBC Two and BBC Two HD.
Webber on pole with Vettel.